What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Burnout Brighter podcast. This is episode 93. I lied last week and got confused. Last week was 92. This is 93 for real this time. My name is Matt. I'll be your host for this evening's events. I'm joined, as always, by my wonderful co-host, Destiny.
Hey.
And my lovely co-host, Darren.
Hello.
And today we have a very, very special guest joining us from Gamer Girls Radio, an absolutely wonderful voice that we get to hear, listen, and speak to, Goddess, aka Gameinatrix, aka Cori. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Oh man, if I could just get Chris Evans to introduce me like that just once. I'm just putting it out there, Chris, if you're free. Anthony Mackie, you too. Sebastian. I'm sorry, I'm a Marvel fangirl. So yeah. Hello.
You're going to fit in very well here. Also, if any of those guys want to give us any of us an intro, I'd also be happy. Cori, if you could tell us a little bit about yourself. Where are you from? What do you like to do? What kind of games do you like? Tell us a little bit about your time in the industry.
Oh, so I do not say age, not because I don't, I have an age issue, but because other people have an age issue. When you see me, I usually shock people because they're like, "You have all this energy. You sure you're not like a teenager?" I'm not. But anyway, see, I told you I was going to ramble. I told him before the show. Anyway, so I'm from Texas. I have lived in Texas my whole life. I've been a part of the game industry 18 years now.
Nice.
How I know this is I have an 18-year-old upstairs. So when she was 6 months old is when I decided this is what I wanted to do.
Wow.
So
that's awesome.
And games I love are, top of the list would be simulators. I love me some simulators.
Like, very nice. And if people wanted to find you and your stuff, where could they find you?
So we are gamergirlsradio.com. There's I had to tell Des this morning. She's like, "What's wrong with your site?" I'm changing everything around like I will do every now and again. So right now it's shop.thepinkcontroller.com if you want to buy something. We're sold out of everything. Thank you, COVID. But still drop by anyway. What else? I think that's it for now. There is a Gameinatrix.com, which I always take the opportunity whenever I'm in front of a mic to say, "You dirty squatter that has my name. I am like 2 months away from you now. I'm coming for you. Give me my website back."
No way. Somebody grabbed it?
Yeah. I was in the hospital and came back, and GoDaddy, evil entity that they are, were like, "Oh, well, you didn't respond to an email that we sent to an email we had on file for you for 10 years ago. So wow. Somebody else has it." So have been trying to get it back. And the person, just a little education for you all out there. If you own a domain name and you've been running it as a business, the person can't do anything with it. Really, they can't. You can sue them for using it. So they're just holding it because apparently they know this. Apparently they know this too. So, but I finally found a lawyer. That was the hard part, finding a lawyer that actually specialized in this. So I have found him, and we are coming for you. Every time I'm in front of the mic, it's your warning.
Best of luck. Damn.
Yeah, good luck with that.
I hope you get that back very soon.
Thank you.
On this week's show, we're going to be talking to Cori about her time in the industry. We're going to be talking about a little bit about Juneteenth as well. So get ready for a big show today. But we are going to start. Oh, before we even get into random questions, we have been covering E3 constantly. If you are looking for post shows from any of the major events, go check it out. Go check them out on youtube.com/burnoutbrighter. We also have a bunch of previews for some lovely, lovely games coming from Freedom Games. We got stuff like Cat Cafe Manager. We got stuff like Sands of Aura. We got stuff like To the Rescue. We got stuff like Anuchard. And there's two more that I'm forgetting, and now I feel bad.
You just talked about it.
Dreamscape.
Dreamscaper.
And Coca-Cola. Just kidding. I don't remember the name. It's Kokoramon.
Thank you. We've seen so many games and talked about so much stuff. Yeah. And we're going to have more previews and lots more coming up as the week goes on. So please keep it locked, or if you're interested, go check more out there. Now, we're going to get into some random questions. As is tradition, whenever we have a guest on, I will ask them a random question that I have entirely unprepared for, and then ask them to do the same and ask us questions all back. But today I'm going to start with Cori, as is tradition. And Cori, if I wanted to ask, Goddess, if I wanted to ask you a question that I had not prepared for at all, it might sound a little something like this.
It's almost like he's being honest that he did not prepare that.
Yeah, almost.
I am always upfront about that, okay? Okay, you know what? I'm gonna ask you this, Cori. If you could have any item from any video game in real life, which one would you want to have and why?
Oh man, that's a good question.
Oh, thank God.
Um, I don't know. I'm like my mind is running through all the games I played. Maybe anybody who plays RimWorld will know this. The podcaster power that is the calm or soothe or burden or whatever that power is. I would love to have that power to just tell people, stay back. Stop right there.
What does that power? What does that power do? I've never heard of it.
It's do you play RimWorld?
I don't.
No.
Okay, well, you don't get it all the time, but I tend to always wind up with it because I love it. I figure out how to get it. But it's if there's an enemy coming towards you, you can make them feel like they have a heavy load on their back. They can't move as quickly. Or if it's calm, it just kind of calms them down, which gives you time to kill them. But I like that. But yeah, but that's probably the thing off the top of my head that I could think that I would want.
That is a great answer and seems very multifaceted, right? You can do a lot.
Yeah, I wouldn't think like those two would be put together, like calming and burden.
Well,
that was like an awkward silence. Everybody just sat there like, well, Destiny. It is.
It's also great in a social distancing scenario. Everyone get the hell away from me. Don't get close. You're approaching me. Now you're slow, and I will walk away. Thank you very much.
That's
exactly.
Perfect. Way to bring it back. Now, I'm going to throw it to Cori next, and I'm going to ask Cori to ask myself a question, Destiny question, and Darren a question in whatever order you choose with whatever questions come to your mind. Goddess, who do you want to start with, and what do you want to ask them?
Oh, I have to ask all of you questions?
Yeah, and I'm excited because you said I'm a professional, so I'm ready.
Yeah, I'm ready. I also have a big mouth. So, let me see. We'll start with Darren.
Ooh.
You're supposed to say present, not ooh. Say present.
Damn! Oh my god, Darren! You weren't ready for that. You think I'm sassy?
I was not. That was, in my defense, a pleasant ooh, because I think this is the first time anyone's chosen to ask me a question first. So I got very excited.
I'm sorry. It's true.
Oh, well, see, now you're getting love today. Okay, so I guess my question would be, what was your first game? That's an easy one for me to ask.
Oh my god, that's a great question. I'm all excited. So the very first video game, so like it'd be the first video game I played, or the first video game that like was mine.
I would hope that would be the same thing, but let's go with the first one you played.
All right. As far as I can remember, I think the very first video game I ever played was a game called Pajama Sam. When I was a kid, my parents got like a Windows 95, and they put on some computer games, and one of those games, Pajama Sam by Humongous Entertainment, created by one of the people that used to work at LucasArts and did all the Monkey Island games. And it's a point and click adventure where you play a little kid who's afraid of the dark, and he's going through the darkness to try and like escape it. But throughout the course of the game, he learns like, hey, the dark isn't so bad. So like, it was an absolutely like wonderful game for, I think, a kid to be their very first game. And I think it still holds up. Like, I've gone back to try and replay some of those Humongous Entertainment games. And obviously I'm an adult now, so like the puzzle solving is pretty easy. It's meant for kids.
For some.
For some. But like, it, like the mechanics and like the world, and it just like, it's a really, really well-made kids entertainment. And so I'm happy I was able to like start on something like that. It really eased me into it.
Aww.
That's so
cute.
sweet.
That's adorable.
That was a sweeter answer than Darren usually gives us. Darren's known on the show for being kind of like the antithesis to hype and to being excited about stuff. That was really sunny, Darren. I'm very
just
proud
say
of you.
it. He's a hater.
Sometimes
Darren, you're a hater.
I can be sweet too, and especially when it comes to my parents being the reason that I got into video games, like it brings back really good memories.
I can't wait for them to hear this.
I understand you, Darren, because my mom was the reason. Yeah, so I got you. We understand each other.
Wasn't everybody's parents the reason, though?
No,
no. No?
Listen, Goddess said that definitively. There's no
I don't care. I don't care if you call her Goddess. I feel like most people's parents bought them their first game. Like a lot of people's parents.
Well, yeah, but not all of them are like supportive of that. It's just like, oh yeah, here's a game, whatever.
Yeah, that's true.
And before, Cori, you go to ask someone else a question, I want to ask you, what game was it that was your first game that your parents got you into?
My mother, the first game she bought me, this is going to give a clue to my age, was she bought me an Atari 2600 with Pac-Man.
Oh,
and
nice.
then she ruined the surprise because her and my stepdad were playing at night, and I could hear them. You know, I was like, what is that I hear over there next door? That sounds like a console. Yes. But
that's very sweet, but I'm very sorry you had to play the worst Pac-Man.
Yeah, that was horrible. But that was not my first game. My first game, I'm going to take it all the way back for y'all. ColecoVision football with the dots on the screen was my first game.
Wow.
Nice.
Very nice.
All right, Cori, who's next? Are you going to go to Destiny next or myself? And what do you want to ask?
I'm going to go to Destiny. This is going to be a really random question. Were you named after Destiny's child?
I don't like that question at all, and I'm not even going to answer it. So there.
What? You don't like Destiny's child?
No, I don't. Like, oh.
Do you realize where I am from?
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
I like her. I'm taking her with me. I'm taking her with me when I go.
No, please don't. It's so bad.
But no, I wasn't. I'm older than that. So my mom actually, like, I have an asterisk after the 2 E's in my last name. So it's supposed to sound French. My mom was like really obsessed with giving me and my little brother like French names. So it's supposed to be Destiné Nichelle. But I think Destiné sounds stupid. Yeah. So I just say Destiny. Destiny. But yeah, that's why I was named. Definitely not after Destiny's Child. I mean, I bumped to them when I was like younger and they first came out, but then the jokes just got really annoying. So,
I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's okay.
Well, thank you for your answer, Destiny. Cori, what do you want to
ask me? I will fuck you up, Matt. Right?
Cori, thank you.
Cori's gonna leave at some point, and I will fuck you up.
Thank you so much for this.
I like her. I like her. She's reminding me of a younger me. Just to get the extra edge to the threat, Destiny, you want to tell me we'll cut to them. Okay. Anyway,
I'll cut you.
That's what I tell them. That's what I say. I will cut you.
There were days. Destiny and I used to work together in the same place, and there were days where I'd come home with like a bruise or something, and my partner would look at me and be like, "What did you do?" I'm like, "Destiny hit me." She's like, "It was probably your fault."
Yeah, and it always was.
Well, I'm gonna act like I didn't hear any of that. Plead the fifth if anybody asks.
What would you like to ask myself now?
I would like to ask you, what has been your favorite game so far?
Oh God!
All right, this podcast is going for 2 hours. My favorite game is Persona 4 Golden. I am a huge JRPG fan, and that game just like shocked me to my core. Everybody that listens knows that I can talk about this for the next 3 hours if I wanted to. But I love the combat. I love the world. I love the characters. And it's one of the few games that it gave me like wanderlust after I finished it for a place I'd never been to. And the story is just phenomenal. So Persona 4 Golden is my favorite game of all time.
I have not played that.
Don't get Matt started.
Very good. It's very good.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, like, I'm very surprised and like impressed that Matt had so much restraint in the length of his question.
Right.
And Cori, if you ask him any follow-up questions, we will not leave tonight.
Yes.
Or you will find me and hunt me down and say why. Why would you?
Destiny and Darren, I'm now. We're gonna have a meeting after Cori leaves.
No.
Schedule about 4 hours after. Well, thank you, Cori, so much for your questions. Those were all great, and we had a lot of fun talking about them. let's mosey on into games that matter. If you're new listening, anytime we have a new guest on, our podcast always like to loop back to mental health and mental awareness if we can, and we like to talk about games that have helped us through a crappy patch or a time that we think that was rough, or just a game that we think deserves to be talked about. So, Cori, can I ask, what is a game that matters to you?
There's a lot. Games in general have helped me. But I have to say, this is going to sound weird and some people are going to cringe. It's been with Second Life.
Okay.
I play Second Life.
You do?
I
Have
do.
you?
Well,
Yeah.
I do sometimes.
Well, I started playing like the second week it came into existence, and I kind of go in and out. But I think I was telling you via private messenger. I don't know. I talk to so many people during private message during the day. I'm an introvert, but I'm okay with texting people. So sometimes I have like 20 conversations going on. So I don't know who I talk with to. But
oh my god, we're gonna be best friends.
Yes, ma'am. So the part of being in Second Life, I over the years, bad things happened. And 4 years before last year, where we lived was a horrible, horrible place. And I was, as I told my daughter, literally out of my mind. I was like, one loud noise away from being on the news. Lady attacks neighbors. So, and so being in Second Life and learning how to 3D model things and just kind of rolling around and delving into my creativity, because it's not necessarily one place. If Second Life is like a ton of a million things, anything you feel like seeing. So being able to just wander around and get ideas and then come back and make stuff, sell some of that stuff, which helped raise some of the money to get us away from there into our pretty new house. So yeah, that was been the biggest lifesaver, to be able to be in there and do that.
I love that answer so much, because we've talked to a lot of different people about games that matter to them, and a lot of the time it is because of emotional cases or anything like that, which is totally fine. But I think it's super interesting that Second Life actually helped you make your life better, like, in a way that you could actually see. So thank you for telling us about that, because I find that very, very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Now, see, that was the clean story, because I will tell y'all. Am I allowed to cuss on here, by the way? Can
I?
Go ahead,
girl.
I gotta be careful. Okay, well, I'm not gonna cuss, but I just need to know if I could. But when I started out in Second Life, I was a Second Life stripper.
I think everybody was. That was the only way you could make money.
Hey, I pulled $200 one week, bought me some groceries.
Nice.
I love it.
That's amazing.
Only smart people can do that, because it's not the stripping, it's the talking.
It is. It's the role playing that gets you in there.
It's like, how you doing, Daddy? You want me to take off this bottom?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's how that works.
It is. Like, you guys are laughing, but that is straight up what it is. Like,
yeah, because I won't talk to them. Yeah, I won't talk to them, but I can type, I just type all day, just descriptive, sexy things. And they're like, here, take my money. Like,
but I remember when it first started, there was no voice. So all it was like talking and typing.
Yep. I'm still jarring. It's still jarring for me when I go in there and I hear people talking. I'm like, stop it.
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome. Thank you so much for telling us about that. Destiny, to circle back just really quick, a quick question, and feel free not to answer, but was your stripper name Destiny?
Oh my God. Yeah. Like, I really want to stay on the podcast and continue to help it grow, but you are pushing it.
I love you too, D. Let's move on to what's new, where we talk about what we've been playing lately, what we've been watching, just whatever's been going on in life. And I'm pretty sure that Darren, Destiny, and I are probably in a bit of the same boat. So let's go to Cori first. Cori, what's new? What's been going on lately?
Loki.
Yes.
Loki. Yes.
Loki's daddy too. He's hot.
Right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, Tom. Okay, let me just tell you. Okay, go when you're done and search Tom Hiddleston. Bring him out dancing, and just get back to me on that.
Okay.
I've seen that video. It's amazing.
I
never
don't
knew
care
he had such
about
dance moves.
I'm ready.
Oh my God. That is delicious. You need syrup? I'm sorry.
Can we pause the podcast real quick? Just go watch that and come back. What did you think of the first episode? Without getting into too spoilers in case somebody hasn't seen it, what did you think of the first episode?
I think it should have been longer.
Yes.
I think it was kind of slow to build up, so we needed that second hour to kind of really pull us in, and then leave me with a cliffhanger. So I was like, yeah, this is a little short. Can I get some more of that? No.
Right. Yeah, those Disney Plus Marvel shows are really, really good at just kind of setting things up in an episode, and then the hour ends or however long the episode is. Be like, what? No, I want more than that. Please give me more. So that's awesome. I'm glad that you've been liking it. Have you been playing anything lately? Have you had any time for video games?
I don't think I'm playing anything super new because I have been making some games, getting practicing until I make the one I want.
Nice.
So RimWorld is still top of my list, which is a favorite in the house. Mainly, my daughter likes to listen to me yell at the little people. Like, what are you doing? Why are you going that way? Stop it! He's gonna eat you. That kind of stuff is hilarious. She actually keeps like a running little notes of just things that I say, and sometimes we're walking or driving or whatever, and she'll just start saying them. Hey, you said this on this date, and I was like, why did I say that? You were playing RimWorld. Okay. So that one's top of my list. Always top of my list. If you haven't played it, it's worth the money. It is so worth the money, especially if you like simulators. You can't go wrong. It's like The Sims meets, like, I don't know, Resident Evil or something. I don't know. I can't pick up two games, but it's really, 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 really fun. Nice. No,
it's not really, but
not really, but
there's something about it that has grabbed you, and whether you like it or not, you are currently playing it.
Put it this way. I saw on Reddit some guy said that he pirated the game and then he bought it. And then I says, well, I'm going to pirate it, and I bet you I won't buy it. I pirated it and then I bought it. And I came and told him, if you go look on the Steam forums, there I am, Gameinatrix, saying, hey, I pirated your game, but I bought it at full price because it's just that good. This is a great game. So.
That's awesome, though. Like, if you pirated it and you didn't have to buy it, but you're like, I want to support you guys because it's a great fucking game. Like, that's not that we're supporting pirating anybody. We're just saying.
Neither do I. And I've always bought the games, but sometimes I'll just, if it's bad, I just delete it and go, I pirated it. I don't even want it. Get it off my hard drive. But, but this is good enough to where I'm keeping this. This is
I personally think all games should come with a short demo.
Yeah,
that's Steam. You notice Steam has gotten back to doing that.
They have gotten way good at doing that. I wish listed a lot of shit.
Yeah, we saw a lot. Well, thank you, Cori. That's awesome.
I'm curious. How many games are you up to wish listed? Just so I can see if I feel better or worse about myself.
Oh my god! Like, I lost count because we were watching the Guerrilla Collective. And so every game they talked about, I think like maybe 80% of those games I wish listed.
And they showed like 75 games? Like, it was
Wholesome
ridiculous.
Showed 75 games for sure.
75, yeah.
And I couldn't even go fast enough to get all of those games. So.
I have 683 on my wish list.
My.
Nice. Yo, that makes me excited. Like, I'm happy to have you on here. No, you don't. It's not a problem. It's not a problem.
That support goes a long way for, especially for indie devs. So wish list even more.
Yeah,
that's fantastic. Well, thank you, Cori. That's awesome. Darren, let's go to you next. What's new?
So yeah, I mean, I've been watching Loki as well, and that's just fantastic. I cannot wait. What I wanted to say about Loki is I'm very happy that Marvel has gone to the like 45-minute to 1 hour episodes, because I did love WandaVision, but having those like 20-minute episodes was brutal some weeks. Like, you don't feel like you've seen enough of what was going on. So at least within 45 minutes, you feel like,
oh my god, I didn't watch WandaVision. It was only 20 minutes long
for the first half of the season.
Yeah, and I was
that's really ridiculous. It's not a fucking Saturday morning cartoon. Like, why would you do that?
It was like
Saturday morning cartoons are longer.
yeah, honestly.
Oh, is that with commercials? It was 30 minutes.
There are commercials. They're just commercials that. See, you're making us spoil it for you.
Well, I'm never gonna watch it.
What?
I'm never gonna watch WandaVision.
Destiny's not a Marvel person.
That's a lie. That you shut your mouth. I do like Marvel, but I like certain characters, right?
Okay,
so I will support certain characters.
I'm going to tell you. You have to watch it for 2 words. Monica Rambeau. Just watch.
Yes.
All right, I'll watch it.
Monica, you have to watch for her. We're hoping she gets her own show.
Ooh, okay. I'll do it. I'll support her.
We do know she's coming to Captain Marvel 2, right?
Yeah, she's going to be in Captain Marvel 2. That was confirmed. She'll be.
I ain't like Captain Marvel 1. I ain't like Captain Marvel 1, so it's going to be a stretch to get me back in there to see them.
At the very least, hey, with Captain Marvel 2, they've actually changed the directors and they've changed the writers. So I think they also recognize that there was a lot.
They need to change the actress. Change the actress.
Yeah, we're too far gone for that one. But
hey, they did it in Iron Man. Get her.
They sure did.
That is true. They did it to Terrence Howard. That man's a crazy person.
Oh my God. He's still mad.
I know why, but
I do too.
I'm derailing the show. This is what I do on my own show, so I'm gonna be quiet. But
Good.
I know why he's mad.
It's all good. It's all good. But other than that, I've been playing a lot of Blasphemous. I said last podcast I'd talk about it, so I'll talk about it this time. It's fantastic. I'm in love with this game. I cannot play enough of it. So, way to describe it again, it's basically like side-scrolling Dark Souls, except if Dark Souls was the Spanish Inquisition. And so it's like a Metroid-style world where it's like constantly sprawling, and you have to get around, except it's just dark Catholic religious imagery. And I'm playing it with the Spanish voice acting because it was a Spanish studio that made it. And it really adds to the world. It feels more real because although the game you're fighting like monsters and ghosts and things, but like the imagery itself is like iconography that existed in the real world at that time. So it adds this like very unique atmosphere that Dark Souls doesn't have, because I'm not a big like high fantasy person. So grounding it in some kind of other pre-existing culture, I think, looks more attractive to me. And like them putting their own Spanish culture into it's just super cool. It's a little difficult, a little confusing, but I love it. I love solving the mystery of the game and fighting items that I'm like, I don't know what this item does, but then like hitting a wall that turns into a secret room and it has like a plate that I put an item on, and then some weird 3-headed woman gives me a hairy egg that I have to go hatch in a fire. Like, I love that stuff.
That sounds nasty.
Yeah. It is, and it's great.
You're reminding me why I love being with my peoples. I love it. You know, you go out in the wild and you're not with your peoples, and then you go, ugh. And then I hear people talking about their games, and I hear that same thing in my voice when I'm like, look, have you played?
Yeah.
I love it. So
yeah, exactly.
Giving me warm fuzzies.
Yay. That's it. That's all I've been up to. Just been soaking up blood and punishing the guilty.
Jesus.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that don't sound right.
Yeah, no. I immediately thought of, never mind.
Well, let's move away from Darren. He's had his couple minutes.
I know what you thought about.
Yeah, you do.
D, what about you? What's new? What's been going on?
So like honestly, I've just been really focused on E3 and not being like completely disappointed.
Which is hard. Hard right? to E3.
Very hard. I've been trying to up my Twitter game, which is really hard because I just don't have enough to say. So I've been doing that. I've also been writing more because I want to try to get a job writing in the game industry. So that's kind of like what I'm focusing on right now.
Yeah, go Destiny.
So I've been doing that, and I've been watching, you guys are going to laugh at me, but I've been watching Downton Abbey.
Hey, my mom loves
You were watching Downton Abbey? I have not watched it yet, so...
I've been binging it but I'm gonna tell you, some of them people piss me the fuck off in the show. Like, I get real upset. So, like, I'll watch an episode, and then I'll be like, I'll go out to my best friend Jackie, and I'll be like, man, they need to fuck him up. I can't believe he's even still working there. What kind of shit is that? Blah, blah, blah. And she's like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, Downton Abbey. And she's like, is that an action movie? Because just the way I talk about it and how angry I get. Anyway, so that's basically all I've been doing, and working with Matt and Darren to like bring more news about E3 to everybody in the Guerrilla Collective, and trying to network with people and interview people and all that kind of stuff. And speaking to you, Cori, and getting all your like information and getting ready to have you on the show. So that's basically it.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
Woo woo.
And Matt, what have you been up to?
Oh wow, we're getting faster. Yeah, outside of all the E3 stuff, but very quickly before I talk about what's been going on with me, I want to give Destiny and Darren a massive shout out. They have been hauling ass all of E3. The amount of games that we've seen. Okay, but I just want to give you guys a shout out. Jeez.
Okay, all right, go ahead.
Just let me talk about you nicely.
All right,
Destiny.
I'm sorry. That's true. Matt!
They have been working so hard, and like we're pretty much been pulling like 10 to 12 hour days every day, and I just appreciate them both very, very much. Darren, I want to give you a huge shout out for your Devolver video. If you haven't seen it, go watch that 7 minutes of absolute lunacy. Normality. It's normal. It's normal. Nothing weird happens in that video. There is definitely not a hostage situation.
No, not at all.
So I want to give Darren big props for that. And Destiny for all the appointments, because it's been you and I for a lot of them. I'm so proud of both of you, and I'm so proud of us as a team. So massive shout outs to you both.
And a shout out to Matt. No.
Shut your mouth.
Shout out.
Huge shout out to Matt.
Yeah, because he's been the one editing pretty much everything with Senna. Him and Senna have been editing everything, organizing everything. Without him, Destiny and I would not know what to do or where to be.
Right. We wouldn't have even watched E3.
I would have just slept for 4 days straight.
So I'm like really proud of you and Senna, because you guys have been doing amazing. I know like when you show me stuff, I'm like, you need to move this here and move that there. But I am very proud of everything that you've done. It looks
Can
great.
I just tell you how y'all have me all teary-eyed?
Aww.
I am so serious. You have me so teary-eyed. I'm having memories, and it's just making me teary-eyed.
Aww.
Thanks, Cori.
Thank you.
We're very, very glad to have you with us today. You've been a fantastic guest, and I'm so excited to get even more into it. But yeah, so we have a lot of E3 stuff. It's our first E3 as media, so we're very, very happy and very, very fortunate. Regardless of quality of overall E3, I've been having a blast with you guys, so thank you. But as to what I've been playing, I've actually been playing quite a bit as I've been waiting for, stuff to export. I played and finished Final Fantasy VII Intergrade Intermission, because they can't have a normal name with any Square Enix game. So I played through the entirety of the Yuffie DLC, and it's awesome. I can't, every time I get back into that world, I'm like, fuck me, this game is so good. Combat feels great. I got my ass handed to me for the first little bit as I kind of remembered what to do, but Yuffie is such a baller. Her voice actress just absolutely destroys it. I didn't expect to get so involved with herself and with Sonam, I believe his name is, over the course of the 4 hours ish that it took me to finish the DLC. And there's more that I could have done, I just didn't. But that it's fantastic. It's so good. So if you're curious to jump back in that world, it's entirely worth it. I think it was like $25 extra, completely worth it for the PS5 upgrade. So if you're curious, go check it out. And I've also just been mowing through Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. Man, I can't talk about how goddamn good that game is. It's just being back in that world as well. After so long, I haven't played a Ratchet game since the remake, but even before then, it's been even longer.
I want to play that game so bad.
The visuals are incredible.
What did you say, Darren?
I said I want to play it so bad.
Oh, I thought you said you hated it. Sorry, Matt. Go ahead.
No, it's okay. What they're doing with the PS5, the everything going on with the DualSense and the haptic and the triggers feels fantastic. The story has been wonderful so far. The new characters are incredible. I love that game so much. And I don't want it to end, but everything about it so far has been incredible. So I'm very, very happy with the love the PS5 has been getting over the last couple of months between Returnal and Intermission and Ratchet now. It's so good. And we just got codes in the last couple of days, so we haven't had time to jump in too much just yet, but we will have a review up for Chicory in the next couple of weeks, so get stoked for that. If you're curious, go check out a trailer. You play this little dog in this black and white world because all the color has been taken away, and you have your paintbrush, and it's your mission to bring color back to the world. It is adorable, and I can't wait to jump more into it, but we will have a review for that in the next couple weeks.
Can I just say something really quickly? I love the fact that you sat here and talked about Yuffie, because she is not really a huge important character in the original. So I just love that you love the game, and because you didn't play the original.
I played the first disc of the original pretty much.
Yeah, that doesn't count. There's 4 discs. But I'm really, really psyched that you love, because Final Fantasy 7 is my favorite game of all time. So I love that you are really enjoying yourself.
Yuffie's getting some love.
Yuffie is so good. Just everything that they do.
She is, because she got barely any love in the original.
Yeah,
she was annoying.
I'm getting to the point. I got to the point with her where I'm just I really want her to be a very big part of the next game because I had more fun playing with her than I did with Cloud. So like, and that's really saying something because Cloud's my boy. But yeah, I hope that she gets a big part in Final Fantasy Remake. So Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 2 because she's been just so good and her combat's fantastic. But let's mosey on down to our main topic for the day. Destiny, I'm going to throw it over to you.
Oh my God, to me?
To you.
Okay, so then I'm going to throw it to Cori. So Cori, I got some questions for you just to like let our listeners get to know you more, kind of like what you do, what you like to do. And my first question, which isn't about those things I just said, but because I think this is important, and I always have this question for other Black creatives, especially women, because I'm a woman. Do you think being a Black female made it harder for you to have your voice heard in the industry?
Yes and no. And no, because I kind of made sure I stayed hidden. By the time that I created the website and then me and the girls got together for the podcast, it was in mythical land called There Is No Social Media. So,
wow.
And Cori is not actually my name. I have a very distinct name, so that's why I don't use it. So I picked Cori for two reasons. I used to work in a children's shoe department, and kids couldn't say my name, so that's how they said it. And it's very ambiguous, so you don't know man, woman, whatever. So or racial. So I made sure I stayed hidden. If like you guys are doing E3, I sent people out to go do E3. I don't go. Well, I did get to go 1 year. I will never go again. But woo, that is that. It's I did it. I'm listening to you guys. I'm remembering doing it our first year at home, and then the next year I went, and it was fun, but I will never do that again. Ever. But so those allowed me to stay hidden so I could speak and nobody knew who they were speaking to, which worked well for me. And then as social media started to come in, then it became I got two different modes. Either they were expecting the angry Black woman to show up or they were trying to ignore me. Well, as you hear me saying a lot in the group, I made the angry Black woman my strength. They expect a Hulk. I bring them one. So I go into interviews, I go to talk to people, and I'm in their face if they're not, wanting to talk to me or give me things. I very early on learned the power of social media. I can remember yelling at the vice president of marketing at EA when I said, "Hey, we want some of the, the new games coming out to review," right. And he says, "Well, what games would you want? Women only play The Sims."
Wow.
What the this is me. What? So I'm like, oh, Twitter. Hey, women only play The Sims. And then he was like, okay, here's a box. Please take this. Be quiet. So
it's pretty sexist.
Yeah. So I've and just I haven't had anybody say anything to me specifically racist, but if you are a person of color, you start to realize these are certain looks or certain things that they're saying.
Yeah, the microtransgressions. Yeah.
Yeah. But generally, like I said, I walk in and I kind of embrace that. If I already know you're afraid of me, then I make sure that when I leave, you're afraid of me. And the hilarious part about that is I'm like 5'1". I'm a little bitty person, but you would swear the Hulk walked in when I come in the room. It's like, oh my God, and here she comes. Here she comes. Hide. No,
do you ever find that like exhausting that you always have to be that person? Because me personally, and Matt can attest to this, I feel like when we work together, like that's what I was perceived of. People who didn't know me well enough, like would perceive me a certain way. And it just got to be like exhausting. Do you know what I'm saying? Because they treated you a certain way without knowing who you were. And I got tired of it.
I don't think I find it exhausting. And that's probably just due to remember. I keep saying remember, like while you and I were having a conversation. I tell you, I talk to too many people during the day. So it's a kind of generational, kind of family upbringing for me. Like my family is originally from Alabama. The birthplace of racism.
I get it. Mine are from Tennessee. So
I have I come from a family of women who are already, very outspoken, very strong with everybody. It's I've witnessed my grandmother get mad at her husband and literally toss him out of the house with her own 2 hands. So these are
He shouldn't have been acting up.
yeah, he was doing something he shouldn't have, but she's of course she's a 6 foot tall, so she can do that. But yeah, so these are the women that I was raised with, and it's like very early on, this is the road for you until things change. You're a woman of color. People are not going to want to listen to you. They're going to pretend like they don't see you, and your job is to not allow them to do that. So anytime when we were doing the podcast, or if I had to go out, that's what I did. I make sure you have no choice but to see me. And then after a while, it just got easier, because once they got to realize that, well, here comes Gameinatrix, she's going to want this, this, and this. And, if you don't give it to her, she's probably going to,
she's going to cause a scene.
I'm going to make her stuff. She's going to cause problems. Then it just got to be easy after a while.
Well, I feel like it's because, like, as a Black woman, you have to go in and work for that respect, whereas a white male, you don't have to. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's very different. The levels of it.
It is. And then, but my other thing was to make sure I stayed close to the white males in the industry that were gonna fight for me if I wasn't in the room, that I trusted to do that.
That's why I have Matt and Darren. And I told Matt, and he was laughing. He's like, we're going to walk through this side, like walk through these doors of opportunity side by side. Because at first I was like, I'm going to be right behind you. And it really is like that, which is sad to say, but it really is. Like,
he's right. You need to walk in right next to him, and that is going to be the thing that makes a change. And I got to tell you, when I hear you saying that hurts my heart, because I was just so adamant about making sure that when I went places, we don't have enough women of color. You don't have this. And I feel like I let you down.
You did. I feel guilty. Oh my God. Don't feel that way. It's just that I've also been in the industry, and I've also worked with like a diverse team, and it doesn't matter. Like, sometimes it doesn't matter how angry you are, how educated you are, like they will look you over. And I get tired myself. I get tired of constantly having to prove myself when I have the credentials to do it. So if I'm with Matt or Darren and Matt walks through that door, I'll walk right behind him and then basically blow them out of the water, because they won't be expecting me. And that's how I feel. Like, I don't want to have to fight every battle. If there's an easier way to get me seen and to show you that I know what the fuck I'm talking about, then I'll take that route. As long as at the end.
Here's why I will explain. Using a gaming metaphor. Everybody here has played MMORPGs. You know how you have everybody on your team that has a different power. So I'm the tank. That's who I am. I'm going to kick the doors in. I'm going to cause a problem. I'm going to yell. I'm going to tear up everything. And then you can come in behind me and be like, okay, now you heard what she said. Don't make her mad, or we both.
No, it's not even like that. Like, I don't let Matt speak for me or Darren speak for me. Like, I speak for myself, but if like he can mow down a few people, then that's all right with me. Like, I'm okay with that.
I used to like the guys that I had that rode, and the couple of guys on the podcast, they generally would not speak for me, because they already knew I was going to be upset. You're not going to say what I want you to say. You're not going to say it how I want you to say it. So they generally wouldn't, but they would come back and tell me if they overheard things. Like one of the guys said he was at a party, because there's always parties after E3. I don't know why. Who has time to party? I'm exhausted. But there's always a party, and he said that the men were coming up to him going, you work for a woman's site, huh? Ha ha, I bet you're getting this kind of action. And I was like, who? Give me the name. Give me the name. Give me the name. Who was it? So it's they generally would not say anything for me.
I'm glad that like you're so strong and like you're able to like speak up. I feel like I'm training Matt and Darren. That sounds really bad. But I feel like
Destiny.
No, I feel like I'm training them and like educating them on things that they weren't aware of themselves, so that when they do speak up, because I can't be everywhere at once, and I'm not trying to
Exactly.
So when they do speak for me, I know that they're speaking for me because it's something that they already know like really matters to me. So I'm really proud of them. Like, we've used, as I said, as you know, I'm the only like Black person on here and female. And we've been using our platform to talk about Black Lives Matter, to talk about diversity. And
Which I adore.
Thank you. I mean, I'm so proud of them too, right? Because the thing is, and this is just like a harsh fact of reality, they didn't have to do that.
No, but it is wonderful to me that you're teaching them,
Yes,
and
girl.
also that they are you two. I think we're talking about you two like you're not here.
Yeah.
But it's wonderful because this is also why I'm getting warm and fuzzies, because I'm kind of able to look back at my beginning watching you guys now and being lost. We got lost in Compton. And going to E3. Yes. And so we pull up to this store and there's, my cameraman and my writer, and he goes, "Why don't you get out and go and ask for directions?" I said, "Okay, first lesson for you all. I cannot get out of the car with two white men in the car. They're going to beat my ass for being with you. So you go into the store. They're not going to touch you." And he was like, "Really?"
They're not.
I said, "Yeah."
Yeah.
I said, "Yeah, they're not going to touch you. But they're going to get me. I may not come back out." And he came back out and he was like, "She was nice. She just told me there is something about not in this neighborhood, baby," or something. And I was, became a joke. But over the years, it got to be where I could, impart my knowledge, and then it got easier for them to, again, they can't speak for me because that's just me,
Right.
if Des is nice enough to let you speak, you should make sure you pay attention so you say it right. But I'm just that type of person. So you're not going to say, "How did you say it? How was your vocal inflection?" No, see, that says these three things and not what I wanted to say. So you don't talk for me, you tell them to call me. So if you're willing to listen so that you can be, I hate buzzwords, ally, but if it works for some people, but if it's going to allow you to be an ally of sorts, then yes, please listen and be ready to stand up and be prepared. You're going to hear some awful things from some people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So something I wanted to ask you, you kind of mentioned at the beginning that when you guys were starting up, you spent, a lot of time making sure that people didn't know who you were. And then when did that kind of transition into being, for the lack of a better term, like the Hulk, right? When and how did that kind of transition start to take place? Or was it something, out of necessity, or was that because of a level of success or something that you felt it was the time for? Like, when did that kind of changeover start to happen?
When did you get your gamma radiation?
When I get my powers. Probably once social media came, because then it becomes harder for you to hide. Probably the first time anybody actually saw me was at GDC, and we got in our very first advertiser. And here's another oddity. For some reason, Asian game companies are much more supportive of women of color, buying advertising and stuff and giving stuff. Just a tip for y'all. So they bought like an absorbent amount of advertising, which I was shocked. Again, there's no social media. Google AdWords doesn't even exist. So they gave us like $3,000 or something for a week of advertising. This does not happen now. So obviously I had to go meet them in person. And their American representative, he turns out he was a black guy, and he was like, "I thought you sounded like a sister on the phone, but I wasn't really sure."
Can tell sometimes.
You can. And I said, "Well, I thought you sounded like a brother on the phone too." So we actually hugged each other, which I don't usually do. And so that was probably the first time anybody saw me. And for some reason that day, I was kind of on a tirade of making sure I stood up and started talking to people, because I was like, I can't be quiet. You know what? Actually, no, I can trace this back to one event, actually, that I decided that I had to start talking. It was partially that day I picked because I was already there, but I was looking for writers, and this girl wrote me an article, and it was terribly just misspelled. Basically, she was young and she wasn't paying attention in English class, and she wanted to write for a gaming site. So I said, "Hey, I can't really use this, and you can't write." So, and she wrote me back this horrible letter saying, "Oh, you white people, you see how you are? You're always treating black people bad." And then I says, "Okay, first look at this picture. This is me. I'm a black person just like you. And if I speak or write incorrectly, it's because I am so fucking good at the English language. I can butcher it and understand how to butcher it and still make it sound good. What you wrote looks crazy." I said, "So if you can learn to write better, please come back, but don't come at me with that." And at that point I was like, okay, I have to start finding some way to let somebody see, so that other little girls see that, this is a path for them if they want to do this or game development or
right.
So then after that, when we did go to E3, I should have given y'all that picture so y'all can have. There's a picture floating around where there's a Women of E3 thing where we were protesting booth babes, and in the middle,
that. Wow,
dead middle of that picture is me and my former co-host, who happens to be Jamaican, and I don't know if Felicia's in the middle of the picture, but Felicia works at Twitter now. She used to work at MTV at that time, but we made sure we were dead middle of the picture because this is the way we can make sure other Black women see us, because that's all we could do. Of course, we are, posing all cute or whatever.
I mean, look cute. That's okay.
But that was probably that day, and at GDC, I yelled at the head of Lifetime or something about their shows and said they were stupid.
Which they are.
Something to the face. Yeah, which they are. I was like, I'm tired of these women. They're always crying. Somebody stole their car. And I need some action shows, woman. But
Well, that's awesome. And I'm really proud of you. Like, thank you. That means that makes me so happy, because we do need more people of color. And that was kind of what we wanted to talk about, because this month we had, Juneteenth coming up, but just Black voices in the industry. And so this month we wanted to really focus on that. And it's so nice and refreshing to talk to another female, especially because you've been in the game for so long, to realize that I needed to put myself out there so other little girls could see that they could do this too. And I think that's so important, because I remember growing up and not seeing anybody who looked like me.
No, I have argued with dads in GameStop. He was buying a game for his son, and his daughter clearly wanted something. She's maybe 6, and us as the guys in the store, because I used to go in there so often, they were like, why don't you ask Cori what's good? And he's like, oh, does she know? He's like, yeah, she runs a website. He's like, well, what's good? I said, what's good is to get her something. And he's like, well, she doesn't want to play any games. And I was like, sweetie, what do you want? I'll buy it for you. So she's
nice.
Like, really?
That was amazing of you.
But he's like, he bought her a game. He's like, well, I didn't think that she'd like anything. It's like, dude, are you kidding me?
You didn't ask her either.
Come on, get something for her. And of course, my daughter, she's not, I wouldn't call her a hardcore gamer, but if I could, the Genshin Impact addiction is real.
Nice.
And Minecraft is real. But she would tell you, since and this is, I still feel like a horrible parent, and she uses this against me. Her first game that she looked at was a Lord of the Rings. She's like 3 months old, and I thought she was lying when she was telling me she was remembering this. Babies, to keep them quiet, mamas give them stuff. I gave her a controller that wasn't plugged in. I died in the game, and Eye of Sauron came up on the screen, and she started screaming. And when she told me, she said, you were playing a game and it scared me, and I started screaming. I said, no, that's not possible. And then she told me it was the Eye of Sauron. I was like, oh my God, I'm sorry.
Wow, what a memory. That's amazing.
That's great.
Yeah, that's how my little brother got into the Silent Hill series. Was when he was a little kid, he'd watch my mom play Silent Hill, and he was so terrified he wouldn't want to come into the room, but he was so curious about what that fear was like that he just had this obsession, and now he's the biggest horror game fan. So it could work both ways. Who knows?
Yes. And I have a grandmother that plays. Well, she didn't play. I lie. She likes to watch and yell at you, especially Resident Evil. Yeah.
Well, that's gonna be me when I get older.
Right? That's what I want. I told her, said, hey, I got my Xbox 11. AR and VR is on. Or what is it? Who is it that has a commercial cricket? It's like there's a grandmother sitting in the gamer chair. She's like, Grandma, I'm coming at you. I'm like, yeah, that's me. Grandma's coming at you. I gotta have it.
I got a question, actually. So when talking about the transition to social media, when social media became a big thing, do you think that's made it harder for Black creators, or make the racism worse? Or do you think that social media is just bringing more attention to it?
I think it's bringing more attention to it. And I think it's harder. Some people are... I see this a lot in the Black Girl Gamers group, but I'm keeping quiet because it's not my turn. It's Destiny's turn. Thank you.
Girl, go ahead.
No. I mean, it's your generation's turn to do things. So
How old do you think I am?
I don't know. I know you're younger than me. Anyway,
probably just by a little bit. We're gonna talk later, and you're gonna be like, "Oh wow, I didn't know you were that old." I guarantee you. I guarantee you.
So anyway, I'm gonna claim I'm older. Anyway, so I see a lot of, somebody said this to me and it hurt my feelings. So I think in that way, it's a weird dynamic that I don't quite grasp. Because I've experienced, people saying things racist when they figure out that you're Black online, but I just kind of, let it roll off my back, or I'm ready with something to say back. But so I think it's worse if you're not comfortable enough to hear people saying things to you and then be able to continue on. But if you're like me, where I'm like, go ahead, say something, and earrings are coming off, go ahead, say something. Let's do this. Then that type of person is going to be fine. But I don't necessarily understand all of any of that dynamic, and it's probably just because, like I said, I didn't have it. Just kind of came along. The generation now, they've never not had some of these things. So weird to me. Alien, foreign.
Yeah.
So did you go ahead, Matt?
Destiny, you mentioned quickly, but I kind of want to dig into that a little more, because it's something that I honestly only learned about in the last couple of years. But Juneteenth is coming up, and I think it is important to help teach people and to help people understand about Juneteenth, because like I said, up until the last couple of years, I never knew that was something that was,
Well, I mean, you wouldn't either, so, and I think Juneteenth has become more popular in recent years because we haven't always celebrated it. But I going back to Darren's question about social media, I think it's kind of like a double-edged sword, but it's been able to educate people on things we didn't even know about our own culture.
True.
Right. So
True.
you have people like talking about Juneteenth, because we would only fucking celebrate July 4th. Like that was what we would celebrate. We didn't have a celebration for like just people who had, come out of slavery. That wasn't something that people really talked about. So that's just become, I would say, more prominent in the last few years. So you probably wouldn't have known.
That was something that we featured a lot, that we didn't talk about Juneteenth, but
right.
But Thanksgiving was one that I remember my co-host would tell me, you need to breathe, because, and this is fun. I just did my ancestry DNA, so now I know where all my peoples come from.
Oh, wow! Awesome.
Well, I always knew, but it just kind of solidified what we already knew. So I am a lovely mishmash of, apparently all of my peoples come from the west coast of Africa and through Virginia, and then I have some the Native Americans, but we didn't know where they're from, but from Mexico, and then I have all these other English and Danish and
but we know
Jewish
you have those.
Yes. So when Thanksgiving is something, depending on how my family was feeling that year, we may or may not celebrate because of the Native part of the family. It's like, so on the show, you'd hear me go, "Happy Death of All My Ancestors Day. I hope you're enjoying your turkey, bitches." So yeah, I always brought that one up. But Juneteenth is she said, it's been hard to kind of explain to people. It's like, well, I don't know what is this supposed to be? Why are you guys celebrating? So I'm very happy to see that everybody's celebrating. And I want everybody to celebrate. This is not a Black people holiday. We all celebrate together.
We should all celebrate together. Yes. I agree.
Y'all can come to the cookout. Come to the cookout.
All official invites. All right. So, but yeah, it's the Liberation Day, basically the Emancipation Day of the slaves in the United States.
In Texas specifically, right?
No.
All of the South.
It's all of the South.
I was trying to do so. Yeah, for the record, if you didn't know, Cori, Matt and I are Canadian, so. This is.
I can tell you're too nice.
They are really nice, aren't they?
Canadians are nice.
So, like, when I was trying to research the topic, the history of slavery is really complicated. Understatement of the year, Darren. But Juneteenth, from my understanding, because Abraham Lincoln abolished slavery in like 1863 or something, and then the June 19th was chosen specifically because that's when Texas, or when the Union came to Texas to basically let them know, y'all need to enforce the abolition, because they hadn't been enforcing it for 2 years.
Y'all need to enforce the abolition.
Y'all.
Thank you. As a Texan, I appreciate
it. Is that correct? I don't know.
I think like the way that it's written makes you think that like Texas started it, but that's not.
No, it's
that's
kind
not
of all
correct.
Of the South.
It was basically all of the South.
Yeah. Okay.
But here's another fun fact that I just forgot. So never mind.
Okay. So I just want to ask one more question because I know we're getting close to like the end. I kind of wanted to talk about, I listened to your podcast through your Facebook, and I wanted to know, do you plan on putting your podcast on like Apple again? Because I know you said you used to have some on iTunes or any of those things. So people can, because we were having trouble trying to find it.
I know it is a big mess. So yeah.
Good.
And short answer is yeah.
Okay, good.
So I am redoing everything because, as you see, this has been this way for been around for quite a while. It's like I need a new face. I need to do things a little differently. Some things I'm going to update. I probably won't ever do camera stuff because I said it feels kind of foreign. I know we had a producer that was griping at the beginning of people starting to use cameras. Like, you guys need to use camera. I was like, you know what? That means I have to put on makeup and be cute like all the time.
Oh, girl, it's such a chore.
And I don't feel like being cute all the time. I like to save that diva for somebody who deserves it. Not to say the listeners don't, but you don't need to.
You ain't gotta look at my face all the time. No, I get you. Matt and Darren don't have to put on makeup, so they just jump right on. I have to like get ready and stuff. Like,
you don't know me, Destiny.
I know you don't put on makeup. You better stop.
That, and this is the other thing I think is different. Better for you all was worse for us because there's no social media. We had a few stalkers. And you can, and when you have social media, you can kind of see them coming because that's that person that's always in the chat room going, I love you so much.
Oh, yeah.
I love you. But we didn't see them coming. It's kind of like I have woken up at friends' houses and had strange people standing over me, and I'm like, who the fuck are you? Where did you come from? I love you, Gameinatrix. Okay, I'm gonna cut you. Get out. No,
Okay, that's terrifying. I can see why you don't want to be on camera. Like, that's crazy.
So I am a little leery.
But that's okay. Like, I want you to tell us whenever you get everything up and going so we can promote you on our podcast. I'm going to promote you anyways, because like
Please the
more Black voices we have out there speaking up for us and who are in the industry, like the more excited I get just being here with you and sharing the same stage. So, yeah.
I just want more, not just podcasters, but everybody to Black women to come out. There's a lot, but some of them are very focused on whatever little corner of the sky that they're in.
Yeah.
And that was always the goal of what I was doing, was to make sure that I got all these people together to speak. But it's hard. As Destiny, you can attest to sometimes.
Yes.
This is a little irritated. What are you talking to me for? What is it?
I was like really surprised, like when I was like, hey, because when they put that, when that thread went up, I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. So many like beautiful Black women, so many strong personalities coming together saying, like, I work in the industry. I've been in the industry for this long. And I was like, yo, this month we're doing Black voices. I want to get some of you on to talk. You are literally the only person who was like, yeah.
Really?
And it's, you are the only person.
I don't know why I'm shocked.
It's okay because I feel like we got the top of the pick, so it's all right. Nobody else wanted to come on.
Thank you.
Yeah. So
what I need to do, Destiny, you can work on this with me. My goal is to one day have a group of Black women that walk into the Grace Hopper convention and scare the hell out of some people. There you go.
I'm there. I'm gonna be in a pinstripe suit and everything. I already got
exactly.
Can you please have a cane?
Yes.
Please, oh my God, have a cane.
Why does she have to have a cane?
I just think
he wants me to be a pimp. That's it.
Oh no! See, the updated pimps don't have canes.
I'm just hashtag Team Cane. I think she should.
He's like, I'm just hashtag Team Cane.
They don't have a cane. She has a scooter that she can fold up, so it can kind of double as a cane.
It can be like a cane that it can have a little wheel at the end, and she can just kind of hold it, and it'll roll for her. She doesn't have to move it.
We'll have Matt and Darren in the back turn on the fans right when we come in, so our hair's blowing.
They have a fan, yes.
One can work the music, one can work the fan. Yeah.
I call music.
Oh my God.
Darren, you better not fuck up with that fan.
I'm trying my best.
Well, Cori, thank you so much for joining us. It was an absolute blast having you, and I hope you come
It has
back and
been a
visit us again.
pleasure.
I hope you come back and visit us again in the future. And I just want to say to both of you, to Destiny and Cori, thank you for doing what you do. I think both of you are just incredible people, and I'm lucky to know and to speak with you guys. So keep it up, and we will always have your back. So thank you for being fucking cool as shit.
My
thank
homies.
you.
And I also now
No, Darren, the podcast is over.
Oh, see, that's the
Just kidding.
definition
Go
of
ahead,
getting
Darren.
cut. Definition of getting cut right there.
Yeah, no, I do this to myself.
Yeah.
Sorry, Darren, go on.
No, I have to say something. No, I completely agree with Matt. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you so much for speaking out. And thank you for, coming to talk about Black voices and Black creators. And I want any Canadians listening to also think about these things, because I think because Destiny, you're American, we tend to talk a lot about American issues. But on a somber note, and this is not related to Black voices, but a week ago in Ontario, in London, there was a Muslim family that was run over by a car, targeted by a
Jesus.
20-year-old white man.
I did read about that.
Yeah. And police and the courts right now have thrown terrorism charges against him, as they should have. But I want to bring this up to say racism is just as alive in Canada as it is in the United States. And I know a lot of Canadians like to try and insinuate that, oh, we're better than Americans. This is not the case. Racism is alive in Canada. And so Black voices from anywhere in the world, people of color voices, we want to try and get them to speak out, because people need to be educated that this happens in our home too.
Absolutely.
And I think speak out, but stand up. Because I'm sorry to interrupt you, Destiny.
No, go ahead.
I want to say this. I don't know if you guys listened to our show on our tribute to Asian women, and I don't know how you feel about it. I'm kind of ambivalent about speaking about some of the Asian community, because historically they don't like us. But I have said this, and I want to say it here. I say it on my podcast. I've posted it. If I catch you, anybody here in Houston, putting your hands on any little old Asian ladies, you have to deal with not only me, but my daughter, who's a black belt, her mama, who she outranks, but I still can throw these hands. We will throw these hands. I'm just telling you, do not touch any of our Asian people. Whatever issues we have between Black and Asian people, we will work it out, but it does not involve you. Don't put your hands on them. I'm done.
I think that was very good, Cori. That was very well said.
Well said.
I just wanted to say really quick before we end, when we do talk about Black issues on here, personally, when I talk about them, it's not just focused in the U.S. I am talking about my brothers, sisters, everywhere. Of course. Yeah, everywhere. So just I want you guys to know that even though I am American and I do talk about a lot of the issues here, I am worried about all of us. Every single one of us. And another thing I wanted to say is that Black people have been constantly talking about these issues. So we need white people to talk about these issues and to educate your friends about this, because we've been screaming until our voices are gone. Mm-hmm. So it's really up to our white counterparts to help us take up. And for anybody who says they don't need help and they don't want the white people talking about it, it's bullshit, because white people need to learn.
Oh, I love that you said that. Love it. Because I hear too much. I'm tired. Then you can Google it. Google is only going to get you so far. So somebody's got to teach. Each one teach one, people.
Thank you.
Ooh, I love that. That's awesome. I have nothing to add. Everybody's spoken so perfectly. Just please be open, listen, and learn, because I know that I've learned so much from Destiny, and I know I will continue to do so, and we will always strive to be better. So just fucking be a better person. God damn it.
Yeah.
I have one more thing I would like to add.
Yes.
Anybody out there know where I can get my hands on an AMD Ryzen 7 5800X? Just, hit me up.
Just hit us up so we can let her know.
Yeah.
Send it to Cori.
And that brings us to the end of the show. Cori, I want to thank you once again for joining us. It has been an absolute pleasure. We had a ton of fun with you, and we hope you come back to join us again in the future. Just one last time before we close out, where can people find your incredible work?
In the universe. No, okay. Shop. You can find me on Facebook, GTR Podcast. You can try GamerGirlsRadio.com, but somebody is really, literally building it now. So it may or may not be up when you get there. And of course, just type in Gameinatrix. You'll probably find me some of everywhere. I literally am everywhere.
Perfect. Thank you again. And that, everyone, brings us to the end of the show. Keep in mind, go check out our YouTube, where we have a bunch of previews about a bunch of different cool indie games from Freedom Games, some of which we were very, very excited, well, all of which we were very, very excited about, and we will have reviews in the future, I'm sure. Keep it locked for a Chicory review in the next couple of weeks, along with a whole bunch more E3 goodness. And we're getting closer to our episode 100, and we're working on some pretty cool stuff behind the scenes that I'm not going to tell you anything about yet.
They promised me a free Xbox.
Darren promised Cori a free Xbox.
He sure did.
And I'm sure he's going to deliver one day in the future.
God damn it.
On behalf of Team Burnout, thank you so much for listening. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share. Find us on YouTube or any major podcast service of your choosing. We appreciate all the love and support, especially during E3. Keep it locked. We'll be back very, very soon. Peace out.
Deuces.
Later.
Well, thank you for your answer, Destiny. Cori, what do you want to
I
ask
will
me then?
fuck you up, Matt.